My name is Tracy Sanders. The theorist I studied this week was Rollo May. Rollo May was born April 21st, 1909 in Ada, Ohio. He died October 22nd, 1994 in New York, New York. The article I studied was The Existential Basis of Psychotherapy by Rollo May, Ph.D. It was later published by Random House in the late 1960s. Rollo May had a hard childhood. He was the second of 6 children. His older sister was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Soon after, his parents divorced, leaving Rollo in charge of his siblings. Later, Rollo moved in with his father. His father, though, traveled often with his job, and Rollo May remembers feeling alone and hated the feeling of being the new kid in a new school all the time. After graduation, Rollo May earned his first bachelor's degree as a teacher. He then went to Greece and taught English. While in Greece, he would often go to Vienna and study with Alfred Adler, who was another famous theorist. During this time, however, Rollo May contracted tuberculosis. While he was working on his book, The Meaning of Anxiety, he had first-hand experience with himself and the patients around him, how anxiety affected them and their thought of this fatal disease, or it could even render them as lifelong invalids. From there, May did survive. From there, he did get his second bachelor's degree in divinity, and he preached to congregations for 2 years. After this, though, he really began to study the meaning of life, and he wanted to follow his dream of becoming a psychologist to help others who had experiences as he did. He soon after opened his own private practice in New York, New York. There he developed 6 characteristics to help his patients. He believed that all patients needed to know that they were an existing person. The first principle he used is, existing people are centered. He believed neurosis is not to be seen as a deviation of what a person should be, but it is a method that this individual uses to persevere and to preserve his own centeredness. They protect their own centeredness out of fear of threat. The second characteristic is every existing person has the character of self-affirmation. Self-affirmation in humans is courage. Without courage, one loses their being. The third principle is that all existing persons have the need and possibility of going outside from their centeredness to develop other relationships. If one is so afraid to leave their centeredness to develop relationships, then this holds one back, and their world and their growth and their development is blocked. The fourth principle is the subjective side of centeredness, which is awareness. Rollo May studied seals in their natural habitat. He said that a seal raises its head every 10 seconds in fear that an Eskimo hunter will sneak upon him and have his bow and arrow ready to shoot. Even in sleep, a seal will raise its head every 10 seconds to make sure of its safety. if a person were to react this way, then that would be neurosis, which would develop into anxiety. The fifth principle is self-consciousness. He followed along with Freud's discovery that the neurotic pattern is characterized by repression and blocking off of one's self-consciousness. The neurotic patient feels he is the one who is threatened by the world. The sixth characteristic is anxiety, which is the state of a human being in the struggle against what would destroy his own inner centeredness. It's a constant battle. The conflict within the person as they confront the choice of whether and how far they will stand against their own being to discover their own potentialities. Rollo May's hope in developing these principles in psychotherapy would help therapists not fragment a patient while they seek to study them, and would help therapists not undermine the person's humanity while they seek to help. These principles are still being used in therapy sessions today.